you're very good at understanding trends and, I don't know, things shifting. So that's probably what made you also a good trader, and you are a good trader for everyone listening. This guy calls it pretty good. What do you think? Like, does your music career, like, how does this all fit together? Like, how did you become Ole?
That's such an interesting question. I think I was always just like an early adopter, and it's like a blessing and a curse at the same time, because once something gets more popular, I sometimes have this inner voice. It's like, oh, it's too popular and you can't do it anymore. And if too many people like something, I'm like, oh, I want to find something else. So it's also, sometimes also an obstacle. But yeah, I think when you're in music, it's also about trends and like finding your own interpretation of a trend. So it's about like finding out, okay, what's going to be hot in the future. So it's not super hot right now, but like finding a trend early, hopping onto a trend, but still keeping your own voice. I think that's super important. And that's also a mistake I see people making over and over again. Then because now they say, oh, AI news is super hot, and you have those newsletters popping to 100k subs, and they just do the same thing, right? And that's like a losing formula to do. So I really like to find things early, but then really like after I found them, like the next step is immediately, okay, how can I put like my own imprint on this, and how can I create maybe like a niche inside that niche? I think that's the really important question.
Okay, yeah. How can I create a niche in this new thing?
Or maybe, sorry to interrupt, but I think it's even more like, how can I stack one trend on top of the other trend? So for example, for the AI Solopreneur, solopreneurship, I think, is already a big trend, and you have creators like Justin Welch talking about solopreneurship all day, and they already amassed a huge following. So if you're now starting off, oh, I want to talk to solopreneurs, it's a trend, but it's hard to find your place in that niche. And AI is kind of popping right now, so I think taking
kinda
okay, it's popping, it's crazy hot. But yeah, I think it's super interesting to try to match those different trends, and it's even more interesting to try to match trends that are completely in different worlds. So maybe let's say there's like a knitting trend right now, and solopreneurship is also a trend, and maybe creating a community for like people who like to knit but are also solopreneurs, that could also be a great niche. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you're like passionate about a niche and it's already kind of full, it feels there's a lot of content out there. First of all, that's signal that there's something going on, right? So don't be immediately, oh, there's too much stuff happening. So it's also a mistake people make. But then in the next step, think about, okay, what is another trend I could stack on top of that to kind of get to this mega trend?
Yeah, and to niche down a little bit, so you're not like everyone else a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure. So it's always like a balance of finding something that has enough momentum to kind of hop onto it, because if you're like, oh, there's no one's doing that niche, maybe there's also a reason for that, right?
Yeah, okay.
So because if you're the only one serving a niche, but maybe just no one gives a fuck, to be so blunt, but sometimes that's also the answer. So I think if you look for trends, it's always great to find something that already has early momentum. If in trading, it's the same thing, right? If you buy a coin or a stock and it's like, oh, I like the fundamentals of this coin, but it might be that there's still like a year or 2 years of a bear market until anything moves, right? So what you want to spot is something that already has momentum. And if we look at it from a price perspective, it's way easier, right? If you see there's an uptrend, there's been higher prices over the last couple of weeks or months, it's already easy to tell, okay, there's the trend there. But if it's just about a trend without a speculative asset, you can still track data, right? You can look at who are the big accounts, are they growing? Look in their communities, like what are people excited about? Look at Google Trends. I do that a lot, quite actually. But also, honestly, like trends are just fascinating to me. They've always been. I just love like searching for new trends, and it's like a treasure hunt sometimes, because most trends, they kind of die. But if you find a big trend early, like that's where the big gains are made. Like So that's
yeah,
important.
for sure. And like I really like what you said with that momentum part, because like I also like am looking or have in the past looked for things that are, you know, like not yet there and maybe a little contrarian, but I think sometimes I miss this momentum part. Like it's nice to be early and stuff, but unless this stuff also has momentum, you're in a tough spot, right? Because maybe there is a reason why no one pays attention to it.
Yeah, for sure. It's also important to look for what I call like sentiment. Sometimes this is like a term I knew from crypto. But for example, like one of the easiest way to tell if a trend probably will live a little bit longer is if a lot of people hate it. It's like, oh, it's not gonna survive, or it's annoying. Everyone's talking about that. That's one of the best sentiment parts you can hear, because if something's growing big, you'll get hate for it, and especially if there's like a fundamental shift in something. For example, AI fundamentally shifts how we could view work, right? And if something fundamentally shifts, it's also threatening. And most people inherently, they don't like change. And so if you have the same happened for crypto. Like when crypto first became bigger, everyone's like, oh, it's just a scam, and I would never invest in it. And to be honest, like a lot of crypto is a scam, but that's not the point. So you always get those waves of hype and also of pressure from the other side, especially from the media, especially the German media. They always hate on new trends, always. And it's
that's a great. Everyone, like, if you want to really know, look at German media. That is.
And like ChatGPT has its first like peak, and it's like, oh, ChatGPT is bad because it tells you wrong answers, or it I don't know, I think it's about copyright, and it's like it's so stupid, right? Because it's this like magic box, and if you would like travel back 20 years and tell someone we would have this thing like basically for free, it's insane, right? Like the value it can create is insane. But I think that's like just the fundamental truth about humans, that we don't like change too much. So that's a good thing to look out for. Honestly, this whole like trend thing and this whole topic, it's so fascinating to me that I was even thinking about like if there's a way like to boil it down into like frameworks, because people keep on asking me about it. It's just fascinating topic.